special message to bring you. I've been bringing it to every sign, and I hope that you're open to it. So this is Annette's Astrology Corner. This is your July forecast with a little bit of something extra, and I can't quite fully understand the reason for this message, but for those who need this message, I think that this is going to be something that speaks to those individuals. And so that's why I'm bringing it to the masses. So let's start off with my experiences with what I've been going through. So for about 3 to 4 weeks, I have been seeing dark entities, but not like evil or dead people, or I don't know what people call dark energy. I'm just seeing dark shapes. They're by a tree, they're walking across, a field, they're in my car, and they're most of the time I'm seeing these things when I'm fully conscious. It has nothing to do with being an unconscious person. If it was something that happened to me like when I first woke up, or an energy that happened to me in the middle of the night or something like that, then I would have probably a different perspective on this. I would probably feel like I was in that realm of between conscious and unconscious thought process. And, sometimes when you're waking up, you don't really rationally understand the difference between the dream world and the conscious world. And so I see sometimes that, to me, things happen during those times, but I don't put a lot of validity in them because, there's that. It just doesn't make sense to me to do it. But however, this is like I'm walking along and all of a sudden I see a dark form. It's humanoid for sure, or it has a humanoid form fully. I see no features at all in these things, but they're observing me. They're in an observation status. This has nothing to do with them interacting with me. They don't talk to me. Sorry, I've been doing videos for hours. They don't talk to me. They observe me. And I don't feel scared of these things. I don't feel like they're bad entities. And so, but I've noticed it. And I brought it up to a couple people and they thought I was crazy. So I usually, sorry, again, I've been doing videos for hours. They usually make me feel so stupid that I'm like, I just don't know people in the real world that understand the metaphysical world. I'm exposing them to that world. That's my message to them, but they're not already there. And so having these conversations with them just makes me sound crazy. And I don't want to push people away from opening up your mind to astrology, because I think once you open your mind up to astrology, it opens up your mind to a lot of things. And so I think, what religion feared was that once you open Pandora's box, other things would come out of Pandora's box. And so I can kind of relate to their thought process of being apprehensive of energy. Now, when I embarked on my journey with energy, I first just I wanted to learn there had to be logic behind emotional-based reactions. And then I started understanding everything else that goes into astrology and my moon, my sun, and all of it, being born on cusp. And, it just spun into all of these realms of learning. And I enjoyed learning privately on my own. Didn't speak of my points of views, didn't talk to people about it. This was like something that I did in my little 12th house area, because I have Saturn sitting in 12th house, in my 12th house. So a lot of things I do are always behind the scenes, not where I like to outwardly appear to please the masses, because that's that Gemini rising thing that I have. But a lot of work I do is research, and I ask leading questions and I document them. And that's how I developed the opinions that I have since developed about different forms of energy. I apply energy, manipulate energy. I like to look at the high vibration and everything. So I don't always see the dark sides of energy. I've spent 20 some years trying to learn how to manipulate energy and find the good in everything. So my brain doesn't really go to the dark side very often. It really, and when it does, it tanks. It completely jumps off the deep end. There is no middle for me. So I don't like to ever concentrate on the dark, because when I go to the dark, it overcomes me. Dark energy overcomes me. That's why I like to attract Scorpios, because the Scorpios can sense the dark for me, show me where the darkness is, and I don't really got to explore the dark realms. They feel it for me. In turn, I give them my light energy and I lighten them up. So we have this relationship, this working relationship between dark and light empaths. That's always seemed to be very beneficial. This is what led me to write articles on dark and light empaths, because I feel like I have, being an empath, I feel like and being around empaths and darks and lights, I just really feel like I have a direct conduit or an interesting take on something that not everybody has that same take on. So these energies, I'm not sensing that they're dark or malefic or that they want to harm me. They seem to be observing me, kind of like I'm a scientific experiment. That's what I'm getting. I don't know if I'm right, but that's what I'm getting. Okay, so I spoke about it, got shut down, so I thought, okay, I'm just going to experience these things all by myself like I do everything else. And I have had heightened anxiety, but the anxiety I attributed was because the sun and Mars is debilitated in Cancer, which it is this month as well. So I just felt like, oh, I'm just experiencing a debilitated energy in its lowest vibration. And so my anxiety is heightened because Mars wants to get out of the kitchen. And so I rationalized that one out. The dark energy, I couldn't, but that one I could. And then I just kept having strange feelings. I started having my dreams again. The way that I connect to energy, I think my gift, or whatever you want to call it, my light working ability, is to learn how to get in touch with energy. I do it when I'm unconscious. So when I take time to meditate, when I take time to be quiet, when I'm out in nature, I probably have because I can consciously connect at a level that I would need to be unconscious to connect to if I'm out in nature. So there's something about nature and me that speak to each other. You just, as you go along your journey of being opened up to this world, you find your unique take on it, and your unique take is your unique take. And I get a lot of people who fight with me on my take on astrology. Well, I blend Vedic astrology and I blend Western astrology and energy manipulation all together. That's my unique gift to you. That has nothing to do with right or wrong. Metaphysics is not about right and wrong. Light workers are being called upon for all of their unique, it's like the super friends. We're all the super friends right now. Aquaman had his power and Superman had his and Wonder Woman had hers. And so you can't get mad at somebody because they have a unique take on astrology. Yes, there are books and there's a generalized look at astrology, but I'm not, my 10th house is in Aquarius. So it's not, I'm never going to be a normal astrologer. I'm never going to have a normal take on anything, because my purpose was never to be normal. It was to be unique. So for all the people that always, fight with me and say, you don't know what you're talking about, and it means this and not this. No, there's no this or this. We're all being awakened. We're all experiencing, I don't know why dark energies, why energies are coming to me. I have no freaking clue. I just know they're there. So I started having dreams. I have a connection in my dreams. I always have. Saturn's in my 12th house. I always will. Anybody's suffering, anybody's in need, that comes to me in my dreams a lot. I know what they're going through. I know what the physical ailments are in their life. And so I talk to them, and somehow just talking to them heals them. It's just a gift to have. Don't care why I have it. I just have it, and I have the faith that's supposed to be there. But I've been very tired for a couple months, and there's been a lot of tough energy, and it's been very draining, and I feel like, I'm also doing a lot of 12th house work. So again, this is something I can rationally understand through astrology, is that when you're working in your 12th house, it's the 4 weeks before your birthday. You go through this 12th house work, and you reflect, and being unconscious is a perfect time to do all of that. So these things all make sense to me eventually, but the dark entity thing, I couldn't quite understand. So the way that I get in touch with energy before doing these videos is I want to feel the planets. Remember that Cancer is I feel. And so I have to feel things in order to talk about them for the majority of the time. Or I just talk about them like a robot in a book. But if I want to be an effective teacher, I have to feel energy. And the way that I do that is I put on videos about whatever energy is going on in that month, whatever, chaotic energy. For this month, it's, we have Venus going into Virgo, and it's going into retrograde in Virgo, and it's debilitated. It's a debilitated energy. So I have my Venus in Virgo. So yes, of course, I've been freakishly researching that, because I really want to understand why yet another one of my chart aspects is debilitated. I've also been researching out the energy of Mars being debilitated in Cancer. And so I really want to understand, feminine energy, meeting masculine energy this month, how you have this fighting warrior that's supposed to be at home and dealing with home matters in the kitchen. I mean, they just feel out of sorts. Mars doesn't feel like his old self. He doesn't feel powerful. He doesn't feel like he's making a difference. And so he's making a difference at home, but, he has to do it in this passive aggressive way. It's not his style. He wants to be out there, storm the troops, going into burning buildings. He wants to be leading an army. He doesn't have time for this tiddly little Cancer work he's been doing. And so, yes, I'm feeling that energy, and I wanted to connect with that to talk to you guys about it. And so I put on the videos like I always do, and I just play. So I'll put in Mars and Cancer. I'll play like 15, 20 videos, and I'll connect, and the energy starts to flow into me. And then I really understand the messages that I'm supposed to give you, because for me, the way I believe that energy gives me messages. Well, I don't believe it. It's just I've noticed. And so how I get in tune with energy is I either talk to somebody who gives me a message about energy or energies that day, or I connect with it myself, or I watch in the videos and I absorb it and I feel it, and it manifests energy inside of me. And that's how I function as an empath and as your astrologer. So I've got this amazing insight going on. I'm learning all about Mars and Cancer, and Mars in the 4th house, and feminine masculine energy. And normally YouTube will play like video after video after video in that same series or that same subject context. But in this case, it went to this Vedic astrologer that I adore and love. It went to his next video, which was on what I'm going through. Now, mind you, I'm not out there researching. I'm not trying to figure this stuff out right now. Good God, I'm barely keeping myself above water with the monthly occurrences, let alone to even start to really research mass ascension. Like, I'm not there yet. And I just don't have time. So, when his video came on, and his symptoms that he was talking about, his physical ailments, the tired, he was seeing things. He was seeing lights, but I'm not seeing any lights, but I'm seeing figures, and I know they're observing me. I just know it. I feel it. But it was amazing to have confirmation that I'm not crazy, because I don't have any support system for my lifestyle. And it was so wonderful to hear it. Now, when it happened to me, when I had that dream, I had this amazing dream where the entity sat me down and told me, hey, if you do that list, you know, you get this benefic result in your life. I mean, it struck me so much that I put it on my Facebook and I said, oh my God, has anybody had this? Because it really freaked me out. And I really want to know if anybody else is going through this, because I work a lot on, you know, looking at everything as an accumulative factor. I mean, it can't just only be happening to me. If it's real, it's got to be happening to multiple people, and people confirmed it. So this guy releases this video about what he's been going through. So he gets 14,000 hits in an hour, shuts down his website, and people just wanting some sort of connection and some sort of, I think everybody's looking for the answer as to why we're all experiencing these symptoms. I want you to know that you are not alone if you are. And that is the message that I want to send out. You're not alone. If you're going through something, it's something big. You're a light worker. You're an energy healer. Your knowledge is being sought. You're in the age of Aquarius. You are Aquarius. So it makes sense that you are going to be one of the leaders in this tremendous movement of light workers. And it was an explanation to that. So I encourage you guys, I've delivered the message. I encourage you guys to go take a look and research out this amazing energy and transformation that's happening with people, because it's not just me being crazy or you being crazy. There is something really seriously changing the way that we look at our lives. So let's get started on July. Okay, guys, we have on the 1st of July a full moon in a Capricorn. Now, Capricorn and Aquarius energy are like bread and butter. I think for the most part, if you guys think alike, if those energies are on the right path or you're synced, I think that those energies work really well together. However, if they can be debatable energies, and so it can be a combustive energy if you guys are at different levels of ascension or different levels. So I think that's what's kind of going on in this 12th house. I think there's some things, there's some spiritual awareness, there's some awakening, there's something going on that you want to rationally explain to yourself. But the Capricorn energy is all about pushing forward, social status, moving up, moving beyond, you know, metaphysically is not, you know, what the Capricorn energy wants to do. It wants you to take a look at your foundation. It wants to make you solid. It wants to make you accountable, but you have this awakening at the same time. So I think you're going to be tore. The reason I say this is for you, this is going to be a lot of work in the areas of, you know, behind the scenes. You know, you're going to regress in, you're going to pull in, you know, you're going to have the same response that I did. And probably, you know, since my 10th house is in Aquarius, you know, maybe there's some sort of energy that's bonding with that, making me regress in and not talk about it, you know, try to figure it out myself and work with it. I think you're going to want to get in the routine of maybe meditating, of maybe allowing more time for sleep and messages and the unconscious realm. I think with the sun in Cancer and Mars in Cancer, this energy is debilitated. It's off. It's emotional. You'd like to disconnect from emotion, but I think you're finding that you are intuitive to your emotions. You are more connected with them than you have been in the past. I think it could be unsettling, but I also think that it's necessary for this moon to fully manifest because it is an afflicted full moon. Full moons light an area where the shadow is. So think about you're different from the day than the night. When you're in the evening, that's when your shadow side comes out a lot more than during the day, because you have to meet expectation of everybody else. And so something is going to be shown to you, highlighted. It's not going to feel really good because, you know, you're feeling kind of off. You're working in this 12th house. Ugh, you know, you're just feeling icky. You're going to have something that is shown to you that I feel is going to make a big difference in your life. And I'm talking down the line. I'm not talking right now. I'm talking like it could bring to an ending your view on that particular area and may expand and open your mind to something else. On the 8th, you're going to have a great and fabulous day. Beautiful trines all up and down this day. We've got the Sun, Mars, and Mercury trining Neptune and Pisces. And for you, this is about setting up routines. What I want you to really think about is, I've known Aquariuses to be somewhat excessive. I think that if they're mad about something, they're fiery. You know, if they're passionate about something, they're extra passionate. They become obsessive. I think almost they whatever you expect, they're the unexpected of that. So I think for you, it's about setting up routines that stabilize your mental well-being as well as your physical well-being. Like, you're going to want to be in a more balanced approach to this energy. It's encouraging you. I think you're going to see something in others, or maybe you're going to interact with somebody significant that's going to shed a light to, you'll give you some emotional support in, you know, changing some of your routines. I think your work routine may, you may find a way to like tweak it in a way where you just are stronger in your work routines. Then on the 13th, it's a day of balancing. I call this the yin and yang day. For you, this is, you're going to see how your routine affects others. Okay, so the way that I believe about others is they're mirrors of what we are. So if you're a person who is living an unbalanced life, you're going to attract unbalanced people. If you have an excessive lifestyle, say you drink all the time, you know, you're going to attract alcoholics, because that's the only people that want to hang around an alcoholic is another alcoholic after a while. Looking at others, you can see where you need to tweak things, where you need to fine tune things, where you need to look at yourself and develop better routines. I think it's, you know what, if you want to have a body shape that is a certain way, or if you want to have, if you want to start juicing, if you want to start doing colon cleanses, you know, you're going to want to start doing that, but you're going to attract sources and people and things into your life that encourage you, because you have Jupiter and Venus in here trining Uranus. So this works really well with your energy. You're just going to unexpectedly attract somebody that can support that lifestyle choice if you so choose. Then on the 15th, we have a new moon in Cancer. And for you, again, this is highlighting the routine. This is highlighting enemies as well. Understand that, you know, who's on team Aquarius is really important to know. Now, for you, I think you like to keep your enemies close. I think you are very analytical. I don't think that you get caught up in the emotional violation of what happens with people. I think for you, it's like, okay, who's really on my team? I don't suspect that one is, so I'm going to befriend that person, and I'm going to have my friends befriend that person. And then guess what? I'm going to learn what this person is really like. I think you're really, really, really good at that. And so you may get an unexpected epiphany through this new moon. Now, this new moon is afflicted. I like afflicted new moons. I think that when a moon is afflicted, it just highlights the area that shows us where the weakness is, so that we can have a new beginning in that weakness. So let's say that we have, you know, a routine in our lives that we don't do really well. I think if you look at others and you look at what you're attracting, I think you're like, oh, that's where my weakness is. And you're going to have that kind of experience. You'll be able to plant seeds. You'll be able to make your life move forward in a better mindset once you're fully, fully, fully aware through the eyes of others and through the eyes of your enemies even. Through eyes of, you know, you're keeping your bedfellows, your strange bedfellows close, but, you know, how strange are they? How strange are you? Like, you're kind of going to have a weird new moon. Let's just put it that way. And then on the 22nd, there's going to be a cardinal cross. And this will affect you because you're ruling a planet. I mean, it's not directly, you're not directly involved in this cardinal cross, but your ruling planet is. And so I think you're just going to feel off, not motivated. You're kind of going to, you're going to be you're going to be torn in so many different ways that it's just going to make you feel defeated, and you're just not going to do anything on this day. Then on the 23rd, we have the Sun and Mercury move into Leo. At the same time, we have Venus moves into Virgo. So the Sun and Mercury moving into Leo is a much better placement. The Mercury in Leo, see, when it was in Cancer, it was debilitated. It doesn't like being weighed down by emotions. It doesn't want to talk about emotions. It wants to move forward and enrich its mind with analytical conversations and with facts and data. It doesn't want to say, oh, I feel, therefore that is the only conduit that I need to make that decision. I mean, it wasn't just, it was feeling like, I want to talk about it, but I've got this emotion that's preventing me. You're not going to feel that, because air and fire ignite each other. It lightens everything up. It dries it all out. It makes it move forward, and it's just a refreshing energy. And then, so we've got Mercury moving out of debilitated energy, and then we have Venus coming in to Virgo, and it is debilitated. So when Venus moves into Virgo, this is the reason why it's debilitated, is because Venus is this pleasure-seeking energy that really just wants to do what makes itself feel good. It's not about, this energy is not about, thinking things through and looking at everything long term, although it wants to partner. It wants a partner based on love and romance and creativity, and it wants to just feel good, and it wants to look at the best sides of everything. It's very benefic. But when Venus moves into Virgo and it's debilitated, all of a sudden you become critical, and you are very critical. Every Aquarius I know, oh my God, so critical individuals. It drives me insane. And so I think for you, you're going to be practical, realistic. You're going to critically look at everything. I don't think this is forward energy for you at all. I think because you have a natural inclination to want to overanalyze everything, I don't think you ever needed Venus to go into Virgo to be able to do this. You're already this type of person. It's just this debilitated energy is going to suck down that fire in you to want to move forward in these energies. So, and I don't think that's entirely bad, because you know what? Let's work on your career then. Let's transform the area of your career. Venus and Jupiter are going to be both trining the moon that's in Virgo. I think for you, this is just analytical thinking on a bigger purpose in life. I mean, this energy is so big, I don't think you're going to be worrying about this monotonous stuff right now. Then on the 25th, you have Venus goes retrograde. Again, anything that's coming up, if it's starting to bug you, or you're starting to tweak it, or maybe relationships with others, or maybe those enemies are now starting to get on your nerves that you were befriending and keeping your enemies closer, I think this is one of those times where you're going to get down to the heart and soul of things. You're going to want to remove them from your life. It's going to be a death to those relationships. Then it's going to be a regeneration of attracting better people into your life that really, really enrich your life, and stop keeping your enemies in your bed, so close to you, because then they start to rub off on you, and it is who you attract is what you truly are. So if you're attracting a lot of enemies and bad people and people that are, malefic people in your life, then you got to look at yourself and analyze why are these people coming into my life. Then on July 31st, we have a full moon in Aquarius. Guys, this is you have a gorgeous full moon. I can't even tell you, I've been doing so many videos about full moons and new moons, and yours is a gorgeous moon. It's probably the prettiest moon I've seen. And so this could bring an ending to being single and you could fall in love immediately. You could have just something unexpected come into your life. You don't even want love and it's there. Or you know what? You may want to partner with somebody. You may want to, embark on a partnership where you're like, okay, I want to open this business. I want to do this. And you know what? This perfect partner comes into your life that really sets this in motion, where you're able to set a routine and you guys could have that same routine and everything goes wonderful. It's a gorgeous Aquarius moon. So that is July's forecast. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave any comments that you want to about what your ascension process is, if you are having any. And I would look forward to looking at it from a more analytical approach. You guys are going to be very spot on about seeing it like it is. And I kind of, I have a best friend who's an Aquarius, and one of the things I like is she's just blunt, and it's not always good, but it's definitely something where you guys have some input on this and some insight that I'm sure that you are going to enrich me with. Have a wonderful July, and I look forward to talking to you guys again next month.